नमस्कार, आप सुन रहे हैं ऑल इंडिया पॉडकास्ट। अभी हाल ही में राहुल गांधी ने हॉगवर्ट्स यूनिवर्सिटी के प्रोफेसर से पूछा कि भैया वैक्सीन कब आएगी। आगे का इंटरव्यू आप खुद सुनिए।
ये भैया बताइए वैक्सीन कब आएगी? दो तीन तो वैक्सीन है जिसमें प्रॉमिस है। एक तो अमेरिकन वैक्सीन है, एक तो चाइनीज वैक्सीन है, ऑक्सफोर्ड का एक तो वैक्सीन है। तीनों प्रॉमिसिंग लग रहा है। आई डोंट नो विच वन विल वर्क। हो सकता है कि ऑल ऑफ देम, हो सकता है एक निकल जाए, आई डोंट नो। लेकिन आई एम वेरी कॉन्फिडेंट कि वैक्सीन कहीं ना कहीं से नेक्स्ट ईयर तक आ जाएगा और वर्क करेगा। एंड देन इंडिया हैज टू हैव अ प्लान, क्योंकि इंडिया के लिए कितना 50 करोड़ वैक्सीन, 60 करोड़ वैक्सीन जरूरत पड़ेगा। When you classify the disease and then you say we're going to have a lockdown, you change the psychology of the people, the psychology of the population, who now suddenly are convinced that this is a very dangerous thing. Let's start with the public health part of this. The reason to do a lockdown is you're trying to slow down the spread of the virus, right? So the virus is a new virus. The humanity has not seen this virus before. And that means all of us are susceptible, right? We have a very susceptible population. And left unchecked, the virus is going to grow exponentially. We think on average the virus infects 3 more people. And the way to stop it is to take infected people and separate them from uninfected. Well, how do you do that? You have 2 choices. You can do really vigorous testing and tracing and isolation. But if you can't do that, then you have to lock everything down. So can you slow the virus down from a lockdown? Of course you can. But of course it has very substantial economic repercussions, most of which there are many people who have much more expertise than I do on the economic issues. But it clearly has them. The other thing is, I always ask about the lockdown is, what are you using that time to do? How do you prepare for releasing the lockdown, right? Because lockdown buys you time, but lockdown is not the goal unto itself. So you want to use that time to prepare a really fabulous testing, tracing, isolation infrastructure. You want to use that time to communicate to people, and now we're going to get into the psychological issues, that life will be very different when lockdown ends, that this is not about going back to what life was like last May or June, that the life over the next 6, 12, 18 months is going to look very different. And it's really about planning all of that out. So it's not just communication, but really thinking through, what will public transportation look like? Who will go back to work? What will schools do? There's a lot of work that you want to be doing during the lockdown. And the last point I'll make on this is around the psychological issues. There is a very clear signal you send to people when you lock down. We have had lots of disease outbreaks in India and elsewhere. We've never had to do a national lockdown. So you're saying to people, this is different. This is much more serious and is potentially much more devastating if we don't do this. And so now you have, when you open up the economy, you have to create a certain level of confidence, because the economy resides on confidence. And if people are scared, they will not engage in economic activity. So you have to create some amount of confidence back.
अगर आपको ये पॉडकास्ट पसंद आई है तो लाइक करें, शेयर करें और सब्सक्राइब करें ऑल इंडिया पॉडकास्ट। मैं निखिल आपसे विदा लेता हूँ। जल्द मिलूंगा एक नई पॉडकास्ट के साथ। तब तक के लिए जय हिंद, वंदे मातरम।